Hello children, welcome to AIMS India's online classes biology session. The story of microorganisms 1 and 2. So this is the video which give you information about the microorganisms. As we all know that there are certain living organisms present on this earth which we cannot see, but they play a very vital role in our day-to-day lives. Either they may cause harm to us or they may even very beneficial to us. Okay, are you ready children? Here some pictures are given. The microorganisms: virus, HIV virus, hepatitis B virus, Ebola virus, adenovirus, influenza virus, bacteriophage virus. These are all viruses, the smallest living organisms on this earth which we cannot see. Let us study about these microorganisms. What are microbes? What are microbes? The microbes or microorganisms are tiny organisms which are so small that we cannot see them with an unaided eye, means with our naked eye. The microorganisms are so small, tiny, small organisms we cannot see with an unaided eye, with normal eyes. Some microorganisms can be seen with the help of a magnifying glass. Okay, magnifying glass, you know, hand lens, such as the fungus that grows on a bread, while some can only be seen when you use a microscope. Okay, in the science laboratory sometimes you might have observed some slides. Okay, such organisms which we can see with the help of microscope: unicellular organisms like bacteria and protozoa. Protozoa is unicellular organisms, animals. Microorganisms were first observed by Anton van Leeuwenhoek, who is the person who mentioned about the microorganisms for the first time. That is Anton van Leeuwenhoek. He studied bacteria. Okay, he discovered bacteria, we can say. So these are certain microorganisms, viruses. Just now we have named them. Virus, hepatitis virus, HIV virus, Ebola virus, adenovirus, influenza virus, and bacteriophage virus. So microorganisms, can we define microorganisms? The name itself is indicating micro, very small, tiny organisms which we cannot see. Those organisms are called microorganisms. There are 4 major types of microorganisms which live along with us, which live on this earth, which are present on this earth. Number 1, bacteria. These are single-celled organisms. Bacteria are single-celled organisms with a rigid cell wall. With a rigid cell wall. They can only be seen under a microscope which enlarges the images from 100 to 1000 times. Okay, if you see how a microscope works, a microscope magnifies, multiplies the size of the organism. Okay, we can able to see the bacteria with the help of such a microscope which magnifies the size of that bacteria 100 to 1000 times. Then only we can able to see with our eyes. Okay, next, second one, is fungi. These are non-green plants and hence they cannot make their own food. Either they live as parasites, deriving nutrition from the host organisms. For example, Puccinia. Puccinia is a fungi which causes a disease to wheat plant. The disease name is leaf rust disease. Leaf rust to wheat is caused by a fungus, Puccinia graminis. The name of that complete name of that fungi is Puccinia graminis. Or some of the fungi grow on the organic matter such as bread mold. Okay. So these fungi are non-green. They are similar to plants. They cannot prepare their own food. They live as parasites or saprophytes. Okay. So here a bacteria image is given here. It is a unicellular. It is visible only with the help of microscope, whereas some of the fungi are visible to our eyes. Okay, mushrooms we can see with our eyes. They are macroscopic, multicellular. It is unicellular. Bacteria is a unicellular. See how beautiful it is. It consists of cell wall. Beneath the cell wall, plasma membrane is present. It possesses cytoplasm, living, that's why. Okay, it does not have any nucleus. It possesses plasmid, means only genetic material, DNA. It possesses some locomotory organelles like flagellum, with the help of which it can move. It also possesses a chromosome. It possesses ribosomes for the synthesis of proteins. It possesses some food granules inside. Okay. The capsule or slime layer is present over the cell wall. Because of this cell wall only, bacteria can survive in different environmental conditions. At very high temperature it can able to survive. Thermophilic bacteria. At very low temperatures it can survive. Certain cryophilic bacteria. Very cool conditions. Okay. Minus degrees also they can survive. Certain bacteria. So they are present everywhere. Okay. Microorganisms are present everywhere. The habitat of these microorganisms are varying. Different habitats they can survive. Okay. Next, fungi like mushrooms, molds, mildews and yeasts are eukaryotic, whereas bacteria is a prokaryotic. Prokaryotic means without nucleus, primitive. Eukaryotic means advanced, well developed. It means that eukaryotic means that they have a true nucleus. Eu means true, karyon means nucleus. Fungi are eukaryotic because they possess a true nucleus. The main components of fungi are: number one, hyphae. Hyphae. What are hyphae? They are thread-like filaments which penetrate, goes inside, which penetrates into substrates. Substrates means the substances on which they live. For example, a bread mold. Bread is the substrate. Okay. So hyphae are the thread-like filaments which penetrate into substrates. They secrete enzymes to break down nutrients into smaller molecules and absorb them, because they do not synthesize their own food. they have to depend on the other organisms for their food. It may be a dead organism or decomposing organism. Okay. Next, number 2, the important structure, spores. Spores are the unit of sexual or asexual reproduction. They can adapt for dispersal, means move from place to place, and survival for extended periods of time in unfavorable conditions. Sometimes when the conditions are not favorable, means when the food is not available, when the temperature is very high, okay, in certain conditions they produce the spores. Spores are such structures which can be useful for reproduction, either sexual or asexual, or it's a adaptation. It can survive in the adverse conditions. Okay. So here a bread mold. So it is a substrate, and it produces root-like structures called rhizoids. See, these are root-like structures, rhizoids, and the spore-producing body is called the sporangium, and the spore-bearing body is called sporangiophore. Okay, it possesses the branches, hyphae, it's stolen, and the spores will be dispersed, move from place to place. They fall on the substratum, this is the bread. Again they germinate and develop into a new fungi, a new mold. Okay. Next, so fungi are often called as mildews, rusts, smuts, molds. Okay, they are called with different names. Next, algae. So far we have studied bacteria, fungi, now algae. These are simple plant-like organisms which are usually aquatic in nature. They contain a cell wall, okay, just like plants. Plant cell contains cell wall. In the similar manner, here algae also possess a cell wall. Cell wall is present in algae, and algae also possess a green pigment, chlorophyll, and can make their own food by photosynthesis just like plants. So algae can be either unicellular or multicellular. Some of the common examples are given here. They are diatoms. Diatoms are present in the sea. They float on the surface of the sea water. Chlamydomonas, okay, it is a unicellular algae. And seaweeds, okay, they are called kelps, brown algae. Okay. Diatoms, they are called the floating postures of sea. They provide food for millions of other organisms living in the sea. Next microorganism is protozoa. Okay, so far we have completed bacteria, fungi, algae. Now fourth one is protozoa. Protozoa are unicellular organisms. Some of them live independently, solitary, means which can live independently, while others live as parasites. Many of the parasitic protozoans, they cause diseases in plants, domestic animals, including human beings also. We also get some protozoans diseases like malaria. Okay. For example, some protozoans are amoeba, plasmodium, paramecium, euglena, leishmania. Like so many are there protozoans. Alphidium, the colonial protozoan. Okay. So here, what are protozoans? Protozoans are unicellular organisms. Okay. They may live independently, or they may live as parasites and cause diseases in plants and animals also, parasitic protozoans. Okay, some of them live in fresh water, like amoeba, the simplest protozoan. Here paramecium is given. The paramecium, it is also called animalcules. Protozoans are called as animalcules. Anton van Leeuwenhoek called these unicellular organisms as animalcules. They are not true animals, they are animalcules. So that's why its paramecium is called slipper animalcule. Okay, slipper animalcule. Verticella is there, it is called bell animalcule. Okay, so here the paramecium, slipper animalcule, it is a unicellular organism, similar to its shape is like a slipper, isn't it? It moves with the help of cilia. It possesses plasma membrane. It is a eukaryotic. It is a dikaryotic because two nuclei are present. One is large nuclei called macronucleus. Small nucleus is present. It is called micronucleus, and it possesses contractile vacuoles. Vacuoles are present. The two types of vacuoles are present in these organisms, like food vacuole and contractile vacuole. The food vacuole helps in the digestion process, and the contractile vacuole, these animals are living in the fresh water, so there is a chance of entry of more fresh water into their body due to osmosis. So to overcome that problem, this contractile vacuole helps this animal to regulate the water content in the body. Osmoregulation means removing of excess of water from the body is called osmoregulation. This contractile vacuole is an osmoregulatory organ. Okay, cytophagy, which acts like mouth, the food vacuoles, which helps in the digestion. Okay, anal pore, which acts like anus, means undigested food material will be eliminated from this. The tough cilia are present here. Okay, and this is about the protozoans. Protozoans are unicellular microscopic organisms. Now the last one, viruses. Viruses are they are not considered as living organisms. They are intermediate between the living and non-living things. They get life when they enter the host. The host cytoplasm, when it is entering, a virus is called a particle, a non-living particle, a sand-like, a crystal-like. Okay, how are viruses different from other microorganisms? Let us see. Viruses are microscopic organisms, but they are different from other microorganisms because they reproduce only inside the cells of the host organism, which can be a plant, which can be an animal, or even in the bacteria. They are the smallest. Viruses are the smallest organisms. Number 2, viruses are much smaller than bacteria and come in a wide variety of shapes and sizes. A complete virus particle is known as virion. Okay, what is a virus particle known as? Virion. A virion consisting of only nucleic acid. Nucleic acid means either DNA or RNA, which is surrounded by a protein coat called capsid. A DNA or RNA, so for example this is a DNA, it is surrounded by a protein coat called capsid. It is a virus. How simple is the structure of viruses. Okay, next, so these are the viruses. Okay, different types of virus. They are of different shapes, different sizes. They are very microscopic, smaller than bacteria. We need electron microscope. Recently this this coronavirus, similar to this shape, HIV, similar to this shape, influenza. Okay, so virus is invisible, very small. It can be visible only with the electron microscope, which can multiply the size of an organism 1,00,000 times the electron microscope. Okay. Next, how are the viruses different from the other microorganisms? Once again, let us know more. The capsid. Capsid is a protective coat made of protein. Okay. So the capsid, a virus is nothing but a nuclear material covered by means of a cap-like structure called capsid. Okay, this capsid is a protective coat made of proteins. The subunits of this protein called capsomeres. Viruses can be seen only by an electron microscope. Why? Because they are ultra microscopic in size, very, very small in size. Okay. So outside the body of a living organism, they do not show any reaction and hence can be crystallized and stored like non-living thing. Virus, when it is outside the body, it is like a dead, stone-like, sand grain-like, okay, non-living. But it gets life only when it enters into the host. See here, this is a virus. It containing the genetic material, either DNA or RNA. What is genetic material? Deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA or RNA. So if DNA is present, DNA virus it is called. If it is RNA present, RNA virus. Okay. So because it is the very important structure which decide the fate of the virus. Okay. So a genetic material surrounded by capsid. What is a capsid? A capsid is a protein layer. So this protein membrane, it is divided into several capsomeres. So here the membrane, glycoprotein membrane structure, peplomer it is, the matrix, and an envelope, a lipid envelope is present, protective in function. So the structure of virus is so simple, nothing is there inside, only the genetic material and a protein coat. Okay, let us proceed. So far we have studied the microorganisms are grouped into 5 types. What are they? Bacteria, protozoa, fungi and algae. After that, the 5th one is viruses. Okay. So where do these microorganisms live? Let us discuss. The microbes can survive in all kinds of environments, from icy cold climates to hot springs, any kind of temperature, and even deserts to marshy lands, means any humid level. The microorganisms can survive anywhere. They are present everywhere. Some live independently while others live as parasites inside the bodies of other organisms, including animals and human beings. So viruses are present everywhere. Not viruses, microorganisms are present everywhere. The bacteria, the fungi. We can't see the fungal spores, but when the food material is exposed, then when you leave the food material for few hours or few days, automatically the fungi will germinate and grow on that. Okay, you might have experienced a bread mold, a fungi growing on a chapati. Okay, so some activities are given in your textbook to study these microorganisms. You please perform those activities under the guidance of your teacher, so that you will be knowing it's very interesting to know about these microorganisms. Okay. Then the protozoa, they are also present everywhere. Algae, they are also. Viruses, everywhere they are present. Okay. Outside the host they are non-living, inside the host they are living, viruses particularly. So microorganisms, some of them are independently living and some of them are, most of them are parasitic. Okay. I hope you understood the video. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.